Those of you who are taking cold showers know that A. They are painful. B. The feeling you get after you're done can be nothing short of amazing. And today I'm going to show you an interesting graph explaining exactly what's going on here. And once you understand this graph, you can also apply it to other areas of your life. And by doing so, you can literally start leveling up in happiness and in your general badass score. Scandinavian Bob here, hi. This channel is about discovering interesting biohacks and smart self-improvement tricks in order to build a stronger self. So consider subscribing, click on the bell icon, and let's get going. Okay, so this graph here shows something called Richard Salomon's opponent process theory of emotions. And stay with me here because I promise you it's going to keep getting more and more interesting as we go along. Richard Salomon was a famous psychologist born in 1918 and he was about as smart as they come, let me tell you. Now, before I show you the opponent process theory, I need to hype it up by saying that today's scientists have found that pain and pleasure are co-located in the brain. They are two sides of the same coin and you cannot have one without the other. Please remember those lines as we go along here because that'll make you appreciate the Salomon's theory even more. Okay, so the spike to the left here is the A process and then the dip that follows, that's the B process. And then we have the baseline here. Alright, now what Salomon found is that if you expose yourself to some stimuli, there is always going to be an exact opposite reaction later on. Let's take alcohol as an example. You all know that when you go out and get a bit drunk, well, it can feel very pleasurable during the beginning of that evening. So you instantly shoot high up here on the pleasure curve. But how do you feel the following day? Well, you all know about that as well. Not so good, right? Because now the B process has kicked in and now you're feeling pain. Obviously, the same thing happens if you are using adult sites for 5 hours. Well, then you feel completely drained for a long time after that. And it's the same with all instant gratification stuff. This happens because your brain always wants to keep a level of homeostasis. So whenever you push your baseline in any way, it kicks in a counter process. And that counter process is always the B process here. But here's the deal. What happens if you then make that counter process work on a painful stimulus, like a cold shower? So we flip it around and put the pain here and the pleasure down here. Well, then you'll feel very uncomfortable in the moment here during your cold shower. But after you're done, the B process kicks in and you'll start feeling really good. So now it's the opposite. And of course, the same thing happens with physical exercise as well. It's painful while you're running, but after you're done, you feel great. Now stay with me here because here comes something super interesting. The graph here only reflects what happens during the first few stimulations. If you keep doing it long term, the graph actually changes and starts to look like this. The A process will become shorter and weaker, and the B process will get stronger and longer. And if you look at the B process now, when it ends, it doesn't even reach up to your baseline level any longer. What this means, my friends, is that after many stimulations, you have literally changed your set point. So let's say you keep chasing instant gratification in the form of alcohol. Well, if you keep doing that, you will end up in a situation where you get less pleasure in the moment and even more pain afterwards. And listen up here, your new set point now ends up below your baseline level of happiness, meaning on average you are now less happy all the time. What you are looking at here is the addiction process in a graph. If you live a life where you constantly keep chasing pleasure for pleasure itself, you end up with depression and anhedonia as a result. But again, remember, the opponent process theory works on all stimulations. So what if we again flip it around and put the pain here and the pleasure down here? Well, now it starts to get really interesting. After taking many cold showers or doing many weeks of physical exercise, here too the A process is getting weaker and shorter, meaning you feel less pain in the moment. But then the B process is getting stronger and deeper. And now you change your happiness set point to this side of the baseline, meaning on average you are now more happy and you pretty much feel good all the time. Do you guys realize then that regularly taking, for example, cold showers, well, that's literally the exact opposite of an addiction, making your baseline levels of happiness much higher than normal. Now think about the phrase I told you at the start of the video, the one that scientists recently found out, that pain and pleasure are co-located in the brain. Yeah, I hope you now see how that makes sense. So the takeaway message is going to be this. If you want to have a life with more pleasure, then you should not go for direct pleasures like adult sites, alcohol, junk food. But instead you should be pushing on the pain side more in order to get the B process to give you the reward after you're done. Because remember, the longer and more often you do it, the stronger and the longer the B process gets. So chasing pleasure directly is a losing battle in the long run. But chasing pleasure indirectly is a long-term winning battle. And also remember that the A and B processes are directly opposite to each other. This means that you can apply this concept to everything you want to improve in life. For example, have you ever wished to have a lower baseline level of anxiety? Well, now you know what to do. Go out and deliberately do something that makes you anxious. That's going to be the A process there. And then when the B process kicks in, you'll be more relaxed, and over time, remember, the B process gets longer and stronger, while the A process gets shorter and weaker. So you fight pain with pain, and you fight anxiety with anxiety, and so on. Once you really grasp this concept, there's absolutely no limit to what you can apply it to. Alright, for more interesting videos like this, consider subscribing. And oh hey guys, have you seen my video series on exactly what happens on a biological level inside your brain if you watch too much adult sites? No? Well, if not, take a look at this video right here, as over there you'll discover something that will absolutely blow your mind. Take a look right now and you'll see exactly what I mean.